Alright, so now welcome to project number 9, that is Student Score Analyzer, the advanced version. So now the objective for this project is to analyze student scores with more insights. So the project overview here is that user input scores and then the program calculates the total, average, highest, and then the lowest. So now there is the real life connection here is just like student or school grading system, right? Like school grading system or something like that stuff, or performance analysis, just as we use in our school grading system. The concept used here is going to be lists, where we're going to be storing those scores, and then loops to keep asking the user to enter more scores. And then input to prompts the users to give us scores, or yes, the function to prompt the users to give us scores. Sum function to give us the total score, maximum to give us the highest, or the max function to give us the highest, min function to give us the lowest scores as well. So now the program flow is going to be, when the program starts, the user is going to be prompted with an input to enter scores. So with that, the program is going to store the scores. And then after storing the scores, it's going to analyze the various scores and display the results. The results include the total, the average, the highest, and then the lowest. So now the goal of this project is to provide full performance summary. So now let's go back, replay the project overview and understand what this program demands. This program is just similar to the previous program we just finished with. So we prompt the user to keep entering the various scores. We store them, and when we are prompting the user to enter the various scores, also give them option to end or to enter something to show that they are done entering the scores. And once that happens, we can display the various scores they've entered. Then we tell them that this is the total scores, this is the average, this is the highest, and this is the lowest. Very simple. So pause the program and start by itself and finish and come back later for the solution. So now let's get coding. So now with this, what I'm going to do is to show you that this is similar to the program we've already with this one. I'm going to just go ahead and edit this one to match this project. So now let me show you that. I'm going to change this to what? Scores. Like so, sorry. Like this. So now I've just declared an empty list, which is empty score list. And now as long as it is true, I want to prompt the user to keep entering the score. So I'm going to say enter score or enter score. So I've declared a variable called val and use the input function to prompt the user to enter the score or done to exit. So with that, if the value the user entered equal done, I would want to end the program. Else, then whatever scores the user entered, I would want to convert it into an integer and then add it to the list. So with that, I'm going to say scores like this dot append. Then I'll convert that value which the user has given me, which was a string, into an integer. Then I'll store it inside this list. There we go. So now I need to find out to ensure that there is something in the list. So then I'm going to say if the length of what scores is greater than 0, meaning there is something in the list. Is greater than 0, meaning there is something in the list. If that is the case, then what do I want to do? I would want to first of all find the total. Okay. So with that, what I'm going to do is, since I will be finding the average, I need to break them down bit by bit so that I can get everything very clear. So now I can remove this one for now, so that I can begin my calculations. So now I need to find the total. Okay. For now, I'm not going to display the scores yet. So I need to find the total and then the various functions that I need to get the highest, lowest, and all that. So now let's see how it's going to happen. So I'm going to declare a variable called total and set it to equal to what? The sum of the scores. So I'll use sum function, sum function, and then call the scores. So what is going to happen is that it's going to sum all the scores and store it in a variable called total. So now that I have the total, I can easily find the average. So to find the average, I'm going to declare another variable called avg, which is average for short. I'm going to say equal to, then I'm going to say total. Average is going to be total divided by what? Length of the various scores. Meaning, average is basically to find average, you get a total of the numbers you would want to find average divided by the total numbers or the total number of items. So now the total here is the sum of all the numbers which we found here earlier. So now the average is what? the total here divided by the number of numbers. Let's say if the numbers are 5, 5, 5, meaning they are 3, total is 15 divided by what? 3. That gives us the average. So that is what is happening here. So now we just found our average here as well. So once we have the average, the next thing we're going to do is now begin printing the various values now. Now we need to display the average, display the minimum, and then that is the highest, and then the lowest, right? But before that, we need to print the numbers first. So to do that, what we're going to say is what? Say print. So we're going to say print, this is going to be inside, this should be inside here. So we're going to say print. Let me give a space, say print. So I'm going to say these are the scores, like so. Then I would want to call the scores variable or the scores list, right? Now this will display the various scores I've entered. And now I would want to print and say this, or the total is, then I'll call the total variable, which found the total for us. And then I need the average, so say print average score is, then comma avg. There we go. The print also the highest score is, and then here that is going to be max inside the scores, and print here we need the lowest. The lowest score is mean scores. There we go. Else we tell the user that no scores entered, or no scores entered, or something like that. No scores entered. Very simple and straightforward, clean program. Let's see, is there any error somewhere? Okay, I think our program is good to go. Let's run it and see. Okay, it's throwing an error somewhere. Okay, so let's take our time step by step. This is on let me see, line 18. Okay, let me check line 18. What is happening in line 18? The lowest print, the lowest score print. Let's see this. Def. Okay. Print. Okay. Okay, this is okay. This is correct here. Invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. Okay, there we go. This is it. Perfect. I think we are good to go. Perfect. So now we've gotten the problem and now it's solved. We eliminated the comma that differentiates the string and then the variable. Okay. So now there we go. Now we have everything up and running. So now we want the user to keep entering the scores. So with that, we put them inside a loop. You first of all declare an empty list where we're going to be storing the various scores. So now we say while true, meaning at this point we would want to tell the user to keep entering scores. So we declare a variable called val, then set it to equal to, then input to prompt the user to enter. So we say enter score or done to exit. So with this, the user has two options, either to begin entering scores or done to exit. If the user enters done, so we want to check if the val equal done, then break. Okay, it will break the program, jump out of the loop, and then it will then come and execute this line and say no scores entered. If there's nothing is entered, so no analysis. Else means then else, the else part means that this condition is false. You didn't type down, so then you've entered scores. So whatever scores you've entered, we need to add it to the list. So we say scores.append. Then before we add it to the list, we need to convert it into an integer. So int val. So now we want to check and ensure that there is actually something inside this list. So to do that, we say if length of what the various scores is greater than 0, meaning there is something in the list. If there is something, then that's something that we need to find the total of it. So we say what total equal to sum of what the scores, sum of the various items in the list. So to find the total and then store it in a variable called total. To find the average, we declare another variable called average, AVG, and set it to equal to total divided by the number of items in the list. And then here we now display the items. Print, these are the scores. So this will display the various scores the user has entered. And also print this the total. This should be the total. If the total is, then it will give us the total scores. And then the average score is, let me say, the total score. So the total score is give us the total. And the average score is, then it's going to give us the average score, which we've already found here. Then the highest score is, then we use the max function to find the maximum score. Then the lowest score is, then we use the min function to find the minimum score. Else we print no scores entered. Simple and straightforward. Now once we are done with this, let's run our program and quickly let's test it. So let's enter down like this, then press enter. Says no scores entered, so the program ends over there. So now let's end this and let's run the program again. So now let's begin entering our various scores. 78, press enter. 87, press enter. 56, press enter. 45, press enter. 72, press enter. Now done. So once you press done and press enter, so it's going to exit, and first of all it will display the various scores. These are the scores: 78, 87, 56, 45, and 72. The total score is what? 338. The average score is what? You can say 338 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives us 67.6. The highest score among them here is 87, and the lowest is 45. So that is that about this project as well, and I'm sure you've already tried it before coming for this solution. So you can now compare your logic to this and then see the results. See you in the next project, and bye.